Water dungeon! I was doing jazz hands, but that doesn't really come across.
Just jump into the water. Just end it. Just end it. This is JRPG Historia Future Perfect, the YouTube show where we catalog every JRPG for your entertainment and our edification.
From front to back, from side to side.
Front to back, side to side, every moment.
Back, side to side.
Playthrough of every game. Every JRPG is going to happen sooner or later. I'm a man of my word.
Probably later, but you know.
Yeah, you know, it's going to take a while.
We'll get it. We'll get it.
Okay. Let's...
You're Evan. You're the time captain.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. I'm Time Captain Evan. I was just sort of bewitched by the allure of the water dungeon.
Cool.
Whoa.
As the Space Quartermaster Ryan McGinley, I can also do introductions, by the way.
Yeah, okay. Sure.
To throw an assist. We also have Stowaway, sometimes Kyle Locke.
Yep. This is our water suit. Don't you love it?
It's a really good. It is a really good walk animation.
I love it. See, they realize that water dungeons are so painful. They want to make you laugh a little bit, you know? Have a good time.
Some men are born heroes. Oh boy, is that it? Is that all we get? Okay. No, hold on. No, we are not done, Skies of Arcadia. I am afraid you have misjudged me.
Don't worry, you'll get more chances to do it. Don't. You know.
We really need that Truple Fish dancing music from Shovel Knight right here.
Yes.
I've been playing through Shovel Knight, and it's so much fun.
It's really
good game.
It's very good.
Like I'm worried though because I'm terrible at like Mega Man games. Does it like ramp up like Mega Man difficulty?
I don't. So one of my, I reviewed Shovel Knight. I gave it a 4 out of aeronautfound.com or .org. I give it a 4 out of 5, and basically my major complaint with it, which I hate talking about because it makes me sound like a super big asshole.
Oh god.
Is that I don't think it's hard enough. But that is merely coming from, it definitely does ramp up in difficulty from the beginning. That's just coming from the games it's emulating. I don't think it comes close to like as hard as a Mega Man game.
Okay. Clint thinks it's too hard.
Really?
Or well, thinks it is hard.
Yes, he thinks it is hard. So, you know, your mileage may vary.
Yeah, from what I've played of it, it very much reminds me of like, you know, Mega Man and other games, Castlevania, stuff like that.
Yeah.
And but like all the boss fights are, in my opinion, seem very Mega Man-esque with the difficulty and stuff. And so I've been enjoying it, but I've been stressing out about it too.
Yeah, I mean, there's stuff. Yeah, how far?
I just beat. Let's see here. There was the like. Which was the knight that has all the potions that he like throws at you?
Oh god, I forget.
I don't think I've gotten that far yet.
Shovel Knight bosses.
I just beat the first 2 bosses so far.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not that far into it, but I like the game.
Yeah, I think it's really good. It's just it runs into this weird issue where like I think it's a better video game than it is like a sort of faithful nostalgia trip, because it's not. It doesn't, like, the style of it is very good, but it's like a lot more. It's a lot more polished, and the difficulty is a lot softer.
The animations are really like for some reason I particularly am so fond of how the animations look. They're really really well done. And by the way, okay, so I've gone through King Knight, Treasure Knight, Spectre Knight, and Plague Knight.
Okay.
So 4.
Yeah, I'd say the back hat, because there are 8. It's like Mega Man. There are 8 bosses. And then like a final.
The Enchantress.
Yeah, the Order of No
Castle.
Quarter is a great name.
Yes, the Order of No
I love
Quarter
it.
is. I think it definitely does get harder in the back half. Like, I basically blew through, I think, the first 6, and then the castle and the last 2 gave me a couple moments where I was like, this is a little challenging. The airship one is a little rough.
Propeller Knight?
Yes, Propeller Knight.
Okay.
But it's just, in comparison to like those because I want to say I've beaten every Mega Man game up to 7. So I beat Mega Man 1 through 6. I just stopped 7 because it's bad. It's a poor video game.
I say the only Mega Man game I have beaten was 10, and that was with the easy mode enabled.
No, Mega Man 10 is fucking brutal. Mega Man 9 and 10 are like probably some of the harder games in that series.
I got to Wily's Castle in 9 and just couldn't do it.
Wily's Castle is where because at this point I'm good enough at Mega Man where I can get through the stages pretty fast. Because it's just, they're not that long, and if you know the order for the boss weapons, you can cheese those bosses and get past them. But the fucking castles are where it's where the real Mega Man starts.
Now, do you know by any chance, with Shovel Knight, is it the same kind of idea where abilities from previous nights will be stronger against other ones? Do you know by any chance?
Mean there's no like boss weapon system built into Shovel Knight.
Oh, okay.
So you don't get anything from
just kind of
boss.
use them.
It just has like Castlevania sub weapons. I think that's probably the other complaint I have is just that the sub weapons aren't useful.
I like the fire rod or whatever.
Yeah,
like that seems to come in handy. The other one I got was like the throwing axe from Castlevania, and I'm like, no one uses that. You don't use an arced weapon. No.
Yeah, it just
everybody who's played a game from like NES knows never use an arced weapon.
But
the people who throw those knights that throw them suck.
Yeah. The ones that throw it are the worst thing. But once you get that weapon, you're like, this is fucking useless.
Yeah. It's just another one of those things where it's like the sub weapons in Castlevania were always like very important because there were a couple of them where it's just like the first Castlevania, if you don't have holy water, you basically don't beat Castlevania.
Right,
like there are bosses in that game that are just no problem with holy water that are the biggest assholes without holy water.
I was gonna say, harkening back to our conversation on sequelitis, one of the episodes is on Castlevania versus Super Castlevania. And one of Ego Raptor's points was that in Castlevania 1, all of those sub-weapons mattered, whereas in Super Castlevania, you don't need them because the whip is incredibly OP. Like, you can use it for anything. You're not whipping in one direction, you can whip in any direction. He even, like, explicitly shows, like for example, the spider here. The spider comes down, and it's at a great direct, diagonal point. So it'd be great for the arcing axe. But why do that when you can just whip in that direction?
Right. That's sort of, I think, the problem with Shovel Knight for me and its sub-weapons is just that the shovel is always better. Like, the fact that you can use it to attack and that also it has the DuckTales, like, bouncing stuff.
I love it.
Yeah.
I do love that.
Oh, no, it's a really good gameplay device. I just think it makes it, like it's always... Basically, every boss in that game is better if you just run up to them and jam the attack with the shovel than trying to do anything fancy with the sub-weapons, which is a little disappointing. But
also, really love the Mario-style map on that, and just having random encounters happen. Like, it's just like it takes all the cool things from retro games and just mashes them all together.
Yeah. It's cool. People should play it.
Super nostalgic.
Yes.
I really don't. I haven't played a lot of those games from that era, but I'm like Mega Man. I've never even touched a Mega Man game, but I really like that game in and of itself. And I want to play Shovel Knight before I play any Mega Man, just so, like you said, Evan, you think it works as better as a video game by itself than a nostalgia piece.
Yeah.
So I'd like to have that.
It certainly relies on a lot of that. Like it helps, but if you go into Shovel Knight thinking like I want to play a game that could have been on the NES, that's ridiculous. It looks too good and it sounds too good and it plays too well.
Right. There's too much. Like some of screen stuff, there's just so much going on and everything too.
Like it's.
Yes, I don't think. I don't look at when I'm playing it. I'm not like this is a game that could have been on the NES.
Yeah.
Now, when I do look at it, I'm like, it's possible you could have had something close with like Super Nintendo.
Sure.
But yeah, definitely not NES.
Yeah, that's sort of what it's being billed as almost, is a very direct throwback to it, so I just want to hit the nail on the head with that.
Right, it's
that
like,
it not,
for example, a Bobo's Big Adventure,
yes.
Obviously does the same kind of thing where it's, based on all these old NES games, but at the same time, I don't know if I necessarily could see it on NES.
Yeah, there's too much stuff in it. It just to like, there's stuff about Shovel Knight that's cool where it's like the color palette is the same as the NES.
Right. Yeah, it's like 8-bit.
Yeah, which is neat. But like, there's too many pixels on screen, and like there's like lighting effects and the frame rate's
like
too high.
It's obviously in like 60 frames, so like the animation. That's probably one reason why the animation looks so much better. It's probably smoother and.
Yeah,
I can't remember how big the file size was on it when I went to install it. I think it was a couple hundred meg, maybe. Like maybe 200.
It's 100 meg, which is like unthinkable on the
NES. Yeah.
But like that's so weird. Like I was downloading while I was downloading Shovel Knight, I queued up XCOM Enemy Unknown to download, and it was so weird just watching like the timer quickly tick down for the 3-minute download it took for Shovel Knight's 100 megabytes compared to the couple hours it was going to take to download XCOM's 16.7 gigabytes.
Right. Have you tried what game was it? Max Payne 3 is like.
Is that the one
16 gigs or something?
Where they didn't like optimize the FMV, like the video file? There's some game like that. I'm trying to remember where it's just like all the cutscenes.
29 gigabytes.
Yeah, the pre-rendered cutscenes, like they didn't compress or something, and so it just became a nightmare.
That being said, that game is amazing and beautiful and everything, but 29 gigs!
That was the thing with Lego. I reviewed Lego City Undercover for AeronauTFound.com.
I remember that.
And it was a real ridiculous, because it was at my peak like cynicism for the Wii U, where I just, it's a Wii U exclusive, and I really have not had very many good experiences with the Wii U. I look at the list of Wii U games as it come out, it's like, 25 boxed games a year out from launch. It's just like a nightmare. And Lego City Undercover comes out, and I heard it was cool, so I went to go pick it up at the GameStop, and they were like, yeah, we don't have it. It doesn't come out today. And I was like, no, that's not that's not true. It came out today. I know. And they were like, sorry. And then I looked it up, and apparently they they screwed up the shipment. So like it did come out, but it wasn't at any stores the day it came out. So I had to go download it digitally from the Wii U. And it was a 19 gigabyte game.
Wow.
The Lego City the whole time I was convinced, and since it was the Wii U, it took like 8 hours to download, because the Wii U is a fucking nightmare. And so it was just, I was like, there must be a mistake. There's no way Lego City Undercover, somebody forgot to like hit compress on 7-zip, because this doesn't make any sense. Lego City Undercover is a perfectly big game for what it is, but it's not 19 gigabytes. I don't understand how that could be without some sort of error. So yeah, that's why when people talk about like digital futures, like, man, what I'm looking forward to is when I never have to go to a store to get a game anymore. And it's like, every experience I've had when I decide, like, I want to buy this on the PS4 store instead of just going the 5 minutes to my GameStop has always been negative. Because invariably the download takes like way longer than if I had just gotten in my car and went to buy it. And I hate it so much.
But at least after those 8 hours of download for Lego City Undercover, you had a really fun time with
at least then it was a 5 out of 5 game. Yeah, it was, I believe I gave Lego City Undercover a 2 out of 5.
Frame rate, man!
It's a good frame rate. Yeah. So in summation, Wii U, bad. I tried playing my Wii U today. I had it hooked up outside, and I had a Wii mode, and I was like, I just want to bop into my Wii menu and maybe try to play like Mario 3 or something on Virtual Console.
Okay.
Because that's what I felt like doing, and then I set it all up, and I guess the sensor is broken or something, because I was pointing at the screen, and it's like nothing was happening. And then I tried to go over to system settings, and it told me that I couldn't go into system settings unless I had a Wii U gamepad, and it was in the other room and not charged, and I was just like, fuck it. and I turned it off.
Wow.
So, yeah. Good stuff. Nintendo knows what they're doing, is what I'm saying.
I feel like there was a moment in time on our podcast on our website, airnotfound.com.
How many times can we plug that?
I couldn't decide if I was going to say .com or .org.
How many times can we plug that this episode? I
Yeah,
feel like that's the third time.
There was a time on the podcast when I was like super anti Wii U.
Yeah.
And I caught a lot of shit for it.
That seems unlikely. I feel like you guys were like, no, come on, you just gotta wait for it to come out. Like, we gotta see what it's gonna be like.
It is very funny and interesting to see kind of the reactions that people had before the Wii U came out.
Yeah.
I was rewatching one of the Game Informer Super Replays, I think. Mm-hmm. I think it was Metroid, Super Metroid.
Yeah.
And they were talking about the Wii U before it was coming out.
Yeah.
And they were saying how, or Andy was on the episode, and he was saying how the Wii U was going to be just this awful thing, and it's not going to be popular. And I think Reiner basically said, like, well, we don't know. It's not out yet.
Right.
You know, this could be the next big thing. I think what we're doing is we're applying kind of what we felt with the Wii to the Wii U, and I don't think that's fair.
Right.
And it's just like, oh, Reiner.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this in defense of that opinion. As a rule, I try not to make sweeping judgments on and I have a feeling, based on the way Ryan normally recounts things, I have a feeling there was something about his argument at the time that was more ridiculous that I was objecting to, that he is like omitting or forgetting.
Hang on, go back. There was another way out. One of the, I can't remember which way, but I think it's that way. Through that hole, you'll find some treasure.
Sounds good. But yeah, you know, I wasn't gearing up to hate the Wii U before the Wii U came out.
Right.
I would love for Nintendo to make another good console. It's just I was skeptical of it, and then Clint and I reviewed it when it came out, and we gave it a 3. We gave it a 3 out of 5 because there were a couple launch games that were all right, and like there was stuff about it that was really broken, and there was some stuff that was fine. And then 2 years passed, and now it's just like, no, that is a 1 out of 5 console. Like, there's no reason to purchase a Wii U. The software library is ridiculously small, and the technical problems with it, like, it's just it's a nightmare.
Right. Yeah, I mean, so. I still think it could be a good console. Mm-hmm. It could, but
if there were just more games for it, like, that's, you know, it's sort of a reductive way of
I don't know if I necessarily think it's a lack of games. I think it's like, because for example, like, I love my N64, but I only got like 5 games for it.
Sure.
I love every single one of them, but
yeah. But the N64 also had a library. Like, when I say there aren't enough games for it, I'm not talking about like there aren't enough good games for it. I'm saying there aren't enough games like that have been released. Like, there are maybe, I would guess, I mean, released in stores like under 100 Wii U games still, which is unacceptable for 2 years.
And I think most people kind of have accepted that, you know, Nintendo consoles are basically just Nintendo game playing consoles, and that's about all they're good for. Right. I mean, that's like my N64, love it.
That's why I don't have a Wii U. Like, if I'm gonna spend all that money on a console, like, to play video games, I don't want to just. That's why I'm not getting it just because a new Legend of Zelda game was announced. Because I have a 3DS for any Nintendo game that I want to get at this point, and it plays other games exceptionally well.
Well, see, that's why, like, when I, go to get a Nintendo console of some sort, I don't get it right away. Like, I'm gonna get a Wii, sometime probably soon, because it's like $50-$60.
Yeah.
And get all the galaxies and
I think the Wii is a perfectly good investment at this point. I mean, it's very cheap, and I think the Mario Galaxy games and like Skyward Sword, a lot of people don't like Skyward Sword. I think Skyward Sword's the best 3D Zelda. So I obviously am in favor of that. And there's other stuff. Silent Hill Shattered Memories, I think, is really good.
And I'll do the same thing with the Wii U. I mean, unless, there's, that one killer title, Metroid, that comes out that compels me to get one.
They're not going to make a Metroid game. They're never going to make another Metroid game.
Yeah,
it's not.
But when whatever next gen game or Nintendo console comes out and the Wii U starts going down in price, I'll go get a Wii U. But until then, it's not a compelling console, and that's it.
It's just a point you have to wonder, why are they even in this game anymore? Like, why are they in the making consoles game? Why don't they just do Sega and stop making consoles? And because the thing that's different between them and Sega is that they have more franchises than one.
The other difference between them and Sega is they could have the next 2 consoles of theirs completely fail financially and be perfectly fine.
Yes,
right, but that's not a good reason to make consoles that could potentially fail financially.
I'm not saying that's a smart idea, but I mean, I don't know if you guys ever watched Michael Pachter or anything like that. But apparently, president is it Iwata that is president of of Nintendo?
Yes.
I guess he's just really stubborn.
Yeah, I mean, look, Nintendo's a very stubborn company. That much is clear.
Right. So the idea of them not being in the console race of any sort is probably just that's.
But they do so well in the handheld market. Like, I could totally see them just going pure handheld, and then every so often throwing an IP to. PC or multi-platform.
Yeah, I'm still I don't know. I feel like the mobile market is fine right now and healthy.
Yeah.
But I still am curious as how much longer, with cell phones and everything getting as advanced as it is.
I think it's going to stay fine.
It's just the difference.
I see so many kids everywhere with 3DSs.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, it's a profitable and also there are no buttons on a phone. Like every attempt to make a phone that has any level of parity with a 3DS has failed.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's an N-Gage or something.
The moment
the PlayStation phone
console stuff breaks is the moment that Nintendo puts out a Pokemon game for the iPad.
I don't see. Here's the thing. I could see them in, I'll charitably say 20 to 25 years, stopping the home console development, putting out Mario games on an Xbox. I think that could happen. I don't think they would put something out on PC. I don't think they'd ever do that. And I don't know why I feel that way. But I feel like that's a leap that's easier for me to make, because it's going from console to console. I just don't foresee Nintendo being like, oh yeah, let's embrace Steam.
I feel like Nintendo's definitely more of a traditional console-based company.
But that could always change with, however, depending on how the Steam box does. Maybe.
I guess. The Steam box isn't gonna do well. It'll be
we'll see.
Yeah,
I know.
It's just too expensive.
Right. I have a friend of mine. I probably talked about her a couple times in the show or at some point. Indie gamer chick.
Yeah.
And she's, getting to look at some Steam box stuff right now.
Yeah.
And the low end one that's 500 or something like that.
$500, right? Yeah.
And then one of the higher end ones that's 10 grand.
Yeah, it comes with a fucking NVIDIA Titan in it.
Right.
At the point that you're going to be buying a high-end Steam box, it's just get yourself a computer.
It feels like it's trying to, in some way, exploit consumer ignorance. The Steam box to me is always, because you can build a PC either yourself or you can buy one pre-made like I did, because I'm lazy and I don't want to build a PC. And hook it up to your television very easily. You can buy.
You don't even need a monitor.
You don't even need a monitor. And with Steam Big Picture, you can really just set your computer to boot into Steam Big Picture, and it is the same. So I feel like the Steam box strikes me as an attempt to be let's upcharge them a little bit on hardware for convenience sake and try to not tell them how convenient it already is.
Right.
Like
right.
and that might be successful, but it's just sort of at a point. It's like, who is it for?
Mm-hmm.
Like, who's buying the Steam box?
Yeah.
Is it people who want to get into PC games who are intimidated by buying a gaming PC?
Right. See, I kind of had a similar idea to the Steam box though a while back. I told my friend about this, and I think we talked about this on our old podcast for Casey James Studios, which I was talking about this idea of having a tiered gaming console, so that people of all different like financial standpoints could try to get into gaming if they wanted to stay up to date. Where you could have like a low end version, a mid version, a high end version, and basically they'd have different removable and replaceable components, like different graphics cards, different amounts of RAM, and basically the console itself would identify what's in the card and auto choose graphics settings for each game that was put in to mimic whatever you had in the system. So, and at any point you could shell out however much money to upgrade your console to maybe second tier.
I feel like that's what.
And Kyle, I don't want to shit on your idea, and this is the same thing for the Steam box, but that's just a PC.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
See, that's the thing though, is that Steam box. Like, yeah, it would be cool if it does that, but also my PC, I hit a button and it automatically chooses the best like graphic settings for me.
On the first time I was booting up Fallout 3 on my new laptop, it was like, okay, auto detecting settings, high settings. Okay, yay, I'm gonna play the game on you can play at 60 frames a second on high with Fallout 3. So let's do that.
Man, it is fucking grinding my gears that I cannot make Fallout 3 work with XSplit. Because I have played like 45 hours of Fallout 3 recently, and I really want to stream Fallout 3, and it is impossible.
I just started playing Fallout 3 and Skyrim on my laptop, and oh my god, guys, Bethesda makes some really damn good games. Like, I played those games before on console, but like something about just sitting in my room at night, like with my 360 controller plugged into my laptop, and like just going around and like really sitting down and like playing those games, like for some reason I'm just like, this time around I'm playing them differently. Like, I'm reading the books that I'm picking up, and I'm like learning about these worlds, and I'm like, god, this game is good. I could write a fucking book about how good Fallout 3 is, and I like Skyrim an awful lot too. So Fallout 3 is easily one of my favorite, easily top 3 games of last generation for me.
Yeah, I would agree. I believe in my breakdown of the games I liked last generation, it was third.
Did we do a individual list for that?
No, I just think I thought about it. Because we did a game of that. Where am I going?
The dungeon. Explore.
Okay. Because we did
basically what you want to be doing is trying to drain the water from that main area you're in right now.
Okay.
Which you've done a couple times, but I think you need to drain it further.
Again, that's fine. We did at aeronautfound.com. You can go there.
God.
Oh, that's the name of this episode.
Just call it Error Not Found.
No, aeronautfound.com.
.com, it's still weird to hear it as .com.
Aeronautfound.com. Well, it sounds better. It sounds more official, which is why I like to say it.
Yeah,
I still prefer .org.
Yeah,
I don't know. It sounds. I'm
just so used to saying .org at this point, but yeah, I do prefer the sound of .com.
Yeah, I probably need to buy that .net sooner or later so we can start saying aeronautfound.net. Wow. Aeronautfound.geocities.net.
GeoCities.
Yeah.
GeoCities even? I think it's still around, isn't it?
But yeah, we did do a game of the generation. I'm sure that Fallout 3 was on the top list.
It was third, I think.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure it broke down, and maybe, I don't know, maybe this shows how much editorial power I wield. But I'm pretty sure it broke down where the top 3 that we decided upon were my personal top 3. Because I think it went Persona 4 Golden, Portal, Fallout 3.
Yeah. Well, Persona 4 Golden was my number 1 also.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was pushing for a game that nobody else was pushing for, which was The Last of Us.
Oh, yeah, no, that didn't take. That didn't catch.
No.
GeoCities was founded in 1994.
The thing that bothered me the most about my The Last of Us argument not working was when Matthew said, "Look, The Last of Us is like the pinnacle of this generation, but so it shouldn't be on the list because it's just like the end result of all this." And I was like, "That's what I'm saying, though."
Wow.
Well.
And that's why Matthew's an idiot.
No. For what it's, I hope he listens to this because
me too.
I love your feud with him. It came out of nowhere.
I love it too.
Well,
no, it didn't come out of nowhere. It came out of him annoying me with not having a pop filter on his microphone.
Wait, he didn't just not have a pop filter. He used a Rock Band microphone and didn't tell us for, let's say, the first 2 years of our podcast.
Right, yeah, and it's just like every single time it was just, and I'm like, oh god, it's annoying.
Yeah. We just all thought that Matthew, like, normally just sounded shitty.
Yeah, like that was just you.
Well, I mean, that's true too.
Well, there was a moment, I think, when we found out, he was like, "Hold on, I need to switch positions," and Clint and I were like in the same Skype call with him, and we were like, "What position are you in?" And he's like, "I'm laying down next to my door with my PSP and my Rock Band mic hooked up to my PSP over Skype."
Wow.
Oh, he is a miracle.
Professionalism at its finest.
He is a miracle.
Like, he had to lay down next to his door so he could be close to the router.
It's like Evan, you know, you give Ryan, you know, the shit about the Duke Nukem review,
right?
But
let's not talk about that.
Matthew is inexcusable. I mean,
well, Matthew, see, it's this give or take, right? Because I think Ryan, in terms of professionalism, obviously superior to Matthew. Matthew does have better opinions than Ryan, though. Like in a critical sense, because he didn't give Duke Nukem Forever like a 6.5.
Right. It's just when you face him with logic that everything just falls apart.
Yeah, sometimes, you know.
Yeah. I don't mean like logic in terms of video game, reviews or something like that. I just mean logic in terms of general life
logic,
things.
Yeah, like life things.
Everything's warm at one point except for cow's milk.
Yeah. Yeah. It's true. Yeah, no, it's good. I do this thing sometimes because we watch a lot of television together because we have a television podcast.
Matthew.
It's at Matthew and I. Yeah, it's at it's called The Series Radio. It's at aeronautfound.com.
God.
But so I'll occasionally do this thing where we'll be watching like an episode of Roseanne. Like we're watching all of Roseanne right now.
God.
You should check that out because we're about to talk about the last season of Roseanne, which is very special.
God.
Are you guys done with Roseanne?
No, we have 14 episodes left, I think.
I never watched the last season, but all I hear is just
the last season is very special.
Special. Well, yeah, that's a nice way of putting it, I guess.
It's short bus special.
It's what dancing that it really falls apart.
Yeah. But it's occasionally we'll be watching and some extra will like pop up and have a couple lines or something, and I'll be like, "Hey, that's John Belushi." I'll just say it. I'll just deadpan it, and I sit there and I'm like, "Is he gonna take this bait?" And like 9 times out of 10, I'll go, "Really?" And I'll be like, "No, obviously it's not. What's wrong with you?"
Yeah,
but it's great.
That sounds right.
Because I know I'm familiar enough with Matthew to where I know where like his limits of pop culture are. So I just choose people that are a little outside of those limits, and somebody who doesn't even look like has the same hair color as the person on screen.
I just love the fact that it's almost like every single time I give Matthew shit, it's like he's completely forgotten the fact that the last time I gave him shit, I said I do this just for fun. Like it's like he's completely forgotten that I do it for fun.
It's the same thing with Evan and I about how he thinks that he's always right because in his if he was right then he'd be right.
Right. No, see,
he knows I don't believe that, but just because I argue it enough,
it really bothers me. It really bothers me because I don't like it when people aren't earnest with me. It rubs me the wrong way. It's the only thing I ask. If I lie to someone, it's probably because there's like a really good surprise coming up. Like the main thing I lied about was that Clint thing with the record, because I paid a voice actress we're all fans of to record something for our podcast Family Game Night, which you can find at aeronautfam.com. And like I lied to him about that for a long time.
Who'd you get to do it instead?
John St. John. Well, I paid John St. John $100 to say "fuck you, Clint. You can't predict my surprise" or something.
No, it was. You can't predict my fucking surprise.
Yeah.
No. It was. Hey, Clint. I bet you didn't see this or my fucking surprise. Something like that.
It was great because all I sent him, because you can go to John St. John's website and and pay him money to send you like a recording of him doing the Duke Nukem voice saying anything. And so I just sent him an email. I was like, yeah, I just paid for this. All I want you to say is, hey, Clint, you can't predict my fucking surprise. And then he was like, is that all? And I was like, yeah, no, that's all. And he said, okay. And then he came back and he was like, well, I had some different takes of it, and also here's like an answering machine message if your friend is, a fan. I was like, okay. And then I listened to one of them, and I was just expecting a raw recording of him saying, hey, Clint, you can't predict my fucking surprise. But instead it went, hey, Clint. And I was like, oh my god. This is so much better than I thought it would be.
The moment, because I knew about the surprise the entire time.
Yeah, no, that's the thing that really killed Clint.
Everyone was like, Ryan. He just sent me a message on Facebook. He was like, Ryan, listen to this. He sent me.
Yeah, you sent it to me too, and I was just like, that's so awesome.
Yeah, no, it's really good. I don't
know if I still have that.
The other thing, because he spent a lot of time guessing, because what killed him about it was I let Ryan know up front who it was. I told Ryan that we got Karen Strassman to do a fake advertisement for a radio show. And, and Clint really wanted to know, and so the first thing he thought was because I had made a Twine game recently. I experimented, I made like this 5 to 10 minute Twine game. And so one of his thoughts was, oh, is your surprise just a Twine game? And I heard it, and I was like, yep, no, you got me. And then I sent him a Twine game that was just one page that said, hey, Clint, you can't predict my fucking surprise.
Nice.
And then I did the thing with John St. John afterward, sort of building in ridiculousness.
Nice.
Which, I'm basically prouder of that than anything I've done. So, Ever. I mean what I say, Ryan. I say what I mean.
Yeah, it's been some good times messing with Clint.
Yeah, the Ju-on death rattle.
Yeah, all the fun stuff with Terror Report. Yeah.
It's been good. It's been good. I'm actually gonna end the episode right here.
All right.
At this battle screen, we'll be back tomorrow with a little bit more, and maybe I'll actually focus and get out of this fucking dungeon. See you guys then. JRPG Historia Future Perfect deactivate.
Dun 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 dun.